Stranraer FC on YouTube, sponsored by GT Mortgages. Okay, good afternoon and welcome to Stranraer FC Live. I'm Laurence Nelson. I'm at Stair Park for the big game, along with Brian Martin and David Kelly. Stranraer v Hibernian. I've no doubt by the time you see this, you'll have seen it live on BBC One on Sunday afternoon. But we're here to capture it all from a Stranraer perspective. So Stranraer make two changes from the team which beat Stenhousemuir comprehensively on Thursday night, with Grant Gallagher and Darryl Duffy starting ahead of Rory Payton and the injured Adam Cummins. Hibernian also make two changes to their side, which faced Rangers more than a week ago. Substitute keeper Matt Macy comes in, Kyle McGuinness comes in, and out go Rocky Marciano and Alec Gogic. And there'll be a minute's silence this afternoon for the Duke of Edinburgh, but also for Ronnie McCall, former Stranraer winger from the 1970s. Brian, you'll remember Ronnie playing.
Yeah, he was a fantastic wee winger. In the time, as you say, in the 70s, you know, like, so Big Heapy and such like were about, you know. And
Derek Fry, Jim McCabe,
yeah, that's right, yeah. That's
Bert
right.
Ferguson, all these guys. Minute's silence, perfectly observed. Not too many people in the park to make a noise, although, Brian, a lot more people than we've had most games this season. We've got the whole BBC crew here and a squad of reporters from the National. It's a busy place this afternoon. Conor McManus gets a head underneath it. It falls to Hibernian, but that's a wayward pass. Sean Burns aimed at Orr, but headed away by Hanlon. Here's Andy Stirling on the ball. Tries to play it in, but it's Ryan Porteous who gets it away for Hibernian. Doidge to Martin Boyle, but that's cut out by the Stranraer defence. Here's McManus, aimed at Orr, and Darryl Duffy races in, wins possession, and that's a free kick. Surely Hanlon, I don't know, I think he's a bit fortunate not to get a yellow card for that, Brian.
Excellent
early in the game.
Excellent early play with Stranraer, Laurence.
Yep.
Duffy forcing the foul.
Testing that Hibernian defence.
Jinky fancies this.
Yeah, this is Jinky or Andy Stirling Towers, there's no doubt about it, David.
So less than 2 minutes in the clock at Stair Park. Stranraer have an opportunity from the dead ball, about 25 yards out. Jinky Hilton and Andy Stirling over the ball. Looks like it will be Hilton. Let's see what Jinky Hilton can do with this free kick. Here he comes, sends it in low, the wall does its job. Sean Burns will lift it back forward, but that's mopped up easily. Out on the right is Paul McGinn. Doidge to Boyle. Now we've got Jackson Irvine. Looks for his opportunity to feed McGinn out on the right, and it comes. McGinn steps into the middle, releases, and that's played out by McGuinness to Doig on the left, into the box, and that was so close to being an opener within 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, I think
Kevin Nisbet just couldn't connect there, Brian.
Yeah, in the old notebook, that's a sitter, Laurence, for Nisbet.
It was a bad miss. Nisbet, of course, a player that we've come up against, particularly Raith Rovers and Dunfermline in recent seasons, but now a Scotland player. David, not a bad start, notwithstanding that Kevin Nisbet chance.
Yeah. Jinky obviously quite disappointed with his free kick. I think we really need to take the opportunities when we're further down the field. Set piece is going to be critical today for Stranraer as we get a corner out of it.
Andy Stirling forcing the corner as the ball goes out off McGinn.
And some brilliant play by Andy this side here, Laurence, get the corner.
Andy's been in great form the last two
Yeah,
midweek games for us.
He's been excellent.
Of course, scored at Stirling Albion on Tuesday night and was heavily involved in Stranraer's demolition of Stenhousemuir on Thursday night. Andy Stirling with the corner, lifts it in. It's headed clear as far as Sean Burns. Plays it back to Gallagher, and that was a bit wasted as Hibs come forward now. But Nisbet doesn't get the ball, it's cut out by Miller. He feeds Andy Stirling on the left, steps into the box and puts the ball, shows him too much of the ball.
Well, that shout looked to be out, didn't it?
I would have shouted for a corner there, however, it is a throw in for Stranraer.
I thought Andy was going to cut in there, Laurence, and have a wee pot shot, but he decided to go to the wide.
Unfortunate for Andy there, David. He just put the ball too far in front of him.
Yeah, no like him.
So Scott Robertson, 251st appearance for the club. Burns out left to Stirling. Stirling back to Miller. aimed at Tom Orr gets possession
Brilliant
inside
Orr.
the box. And you have to say that was effective defending there by Hibernian. Big defender just got in between Orr and the ball. Throw in for Hibs. Doig with the ball. And it's returned to him by McGuinness. And Hanlon on Orr. Orr gets the ball back, but breaks to a Hibs man. And Kieran Miller trying hard there, but Hibs do well to dig that one out. Here is Martin Boyle in the box. He gets it across the back, and that's a wayward header, thankfully, by Kevin Nisbet. 11 minutes gone. That was another decent chance for Nisbet, Davy.
First good chance. I thought there was going to be a penalty there. There was a collision in the box. If the Hibs player had went down, I think the referee would have gave a penalty.
Hilton nodded on. It's head tennis in the middle at the moment as Irvin plays it out wide for Martin Boyle. And Boyle gets away with slack play. He gets the ball fed back to him, skips past Robertson, plays it in the middle, and that should be a goal. That is an absolutely howler by Kevin Nisbet, you have to say, David.
An absolute setup by Nisbet there. What a great ball in the box. I mean, Nisbet has to do better than that.
And Brian, I make that he could have had a hat-trick by now.
He's had two great chances on the ground anyway, Laurence. The header I don't know so much, but two great chances.
In the inside to Nisbet, feeds Boyle, but an awkward one for Boyle to deal with. The ball was played behind him. Now we're back over to the left. Newell, a 1-2 with Doig. Newell on the ball. Jackson Irvin in the middle, takes a few steps forward. That's a lovely ball, and Boyle's shot blocked effectively by big Scott Robertson. More stout defending at the back for Stranraer, Brian.
Great running off the ball by Boyle, it's got to be said there, Laurence. Left the Stranraer defence static, but they recovered and managed to clear it for the corner.
Certainly cut us open in the midfield, but Robertson alert to the danger there. McGinn shouting for it on the right hand side.
He's got loads of space, hasn't he?
And here he is. McGinn out to Boyle. He's got time to cross, and Hilton back heads it, and the ball is still there for Hibs. Newell lets fly, but it's blocked by Sonker, and Nisbet lets fly with a shot which is hit and hope, really, David.
I've never checked my watch as much in my life.
It's 35th minute we're in now.
I feel as if I'm back up at Broadwood against St Johnstone. Yeah.
That was a long, long afternoon. Looking for movement. Here's Newell. Back to Doig. Takes a couple of steps. Faces goal. Aims this one for Boyle. Now he's got McGinn behind him. And that is a fantastic save by Greg Fleming. Lovely cut back by Hibernian, and that looked like a net bound all the way, David.
Tremendous. I don't know how Greg's kept that out. Whenever it's hot, whenever he saved it, I still thought it was going to go in.
It looks like one of those the old Gordon Banks ones, doesn't it? He was down on the deck, but he still managed to punch it over the goal, Brian.
He has a fantastic shot stopper. We've seen that this season, Laurence.
So Martin Boyle on the far side there with the corner. He's changed wings for this dead ball situation, and that's lifted by Miller. It's still in the danger zone. Sonker tries to get it out, and that's a goal. Yeah, Christian Deutsch, I think the man who hammers that home. And when you think about the pressure that Stranraer have managed to put up with there, that felt quite cheap to concede, David.
We had to attack that ball there when it was there. Either Greg Fleming or Big Ayrton Sonker just stood there watching. They had to come out for it.
It's 37 minutes on the clock. Stranraer 0, Hibernian 1, Christian Deutsch with the goal. And it's what happens now for Stranraer that's important. Hibs have got the breakthrough. We had frustrated them for 37 minutes. So I guess, Brian, what happens next?
I've just got to keep the shape, Laurence. I mean, the team are doing fine, I mean, it's only one, they've got to try and keep the shape. Don't lose any more before half time. Yeah.
Newell lifts it high and wide right into the path of Boyle. Lovely ball across. And Boyle goes down very cheaply, and again, referee David Monroe decides that's a free kick. It's kind of free kick I could have won, I think. Between 25 and 30 yards out from goal. He's going to hit this left-footed in-swinger into the box, and that's a great ball.
Well,
fantastic save by Greg Fleming, and I think it was Ryan Porty who's got the head on that for Hibernian. Fantastic ball in, decent effort by Porteous, very good save by Greg Fleming.
It was a cracker, wasn't it, Laurence? It was going into the far post. And
it was really well placed by Porteous, and Fleming did well to get down low to tip that round.
We obviously had the free kick for Jinky Hilton, but apart from that we haven't created too much. Hibs have been pressing really well with the two wide men.
That's a free kick all day long, and the referee not interested. Ryan Porteous with his arms round the ribs of Tam Orr, and Orr looks as if he's taking a sore one there.
That's what I'm saying, Laurence. He gets a free kick for the dive, and Tam's fouled. He just didn't get a free kick,
That was a free kick all day long, but look what's happening here. That was almost a second goal by Nisbet. That's the closest Nisbet's got this afternoon, and it's probably the more difficult chance. He hit that from 20 yards out.
Yep, I think Greg Fleming had that covered though. He pulled his hand back when he was diving. He must have knew where that was going.
I guess the BBC man and the camera behind the goals there will have got a good view of that one. Here's Kevin Nisbet. Out wide.
He's peeling off at the back post.
And that's it's not a goal. It's a poor miss.
Deutsch did well to peel away at the back post there, but should have done better with the header.
He's got to score, hasn't he?
Yeah, ball in from Boyle. Deutsch should have done better. Hibs able to play this passing game. Now Stranraer have got a substitute getting ready here. Jamie Hamill.
I've got a notion maybe Sean Barnes is...
And look at this. Danger up the right, and that's a great save by Greg Fleming. Uses his feet to block Kyle McGuinness's shot after a great move up the right by Hibernian. Well done, Greg Fleming. Substitution for Stranraer. 50 minutes in. Hamill for Burns. Hibs comfortable in the ball. Paul Hanlon aimed for Boyle. Manus out to Andy Stirling. Off he goes. Oof. And that should be a yellow card all day long. Yeah. Cynical. And McGinn booked. 53 minutes on the clock. Cynical challenge on Andy Stirling.
I would like to see Andy Stirling doing more of that in the second half. Laurence run at the defence.
He did it so successfully at Stirling Albion. To Stirling and Hamill over the ball. Looks like it's Jamie Hamill who will lift this into the box. That takes a ricochet.
Oof.
And that could have gone anywhere, but the upshot is a corner for Stranraer. Nobody was able to attack it at that post. I think it was too near the byline by the time it came down.
Deflection there, and the keeper was wrong-footed, struggling to get back.
Be interested, David, to see where it was going had it not been deflected. It's hard to tell.
I was up my feet anyway. I was ready to celebrate.
Andy Stirling with the corner.
Yeah. Oof.
And the keeper's arm appears from nowhere. A good goalkeeping by Macy. Back out to Stirling.
Well played,
steps past Newell, delivers it, and that's still there. This is better from Stranraer.
Yeah.
At least they're giving the Hibs defence a bit of work to do. And Stirling
better
lifted in by Manus.
Oof, must be.
And Tam Orr's shot blocked there. Dreadfully unlucky for Orr. So that looked like a shot on target at last for Stranraer, Brian.
Yeah, as I was saying, Laurence said Duffy doing a good bit of defending for Hibs there.
Was it Duffy who blocked it, was it?
I think it was.
I think it was as well, aye.
Hamill angled out towards the right, towards Hilton, but Doig gets underneath that. Miller lifts it back forward. Miller, Hilton. And that's cleared for a Stranraer throw-in. Stranraer putting pressure on that Hibs box again. Jamie Hamill with the throw-in this time. Stirling back to Hamill into the box. And Hilton unable to do much with it. He tries to regain possession, but Porteous lifts it forward. Important that Robertson gets this right here. With Christian Doig trying to break out down the right. And that will be a corner for Hibernian. Plenty of Hibernian players in the box, as you would have imagined, and Robertson it is that gets ahead to it. Back out to Newell though. Inside to Hanlon. Newell will cross, and Jamie Hamill with such a crucial intervention at the back, David.
Yeah, good header by Jamie Hamill.
So Hanlon feeds McGuinness. Kieran Miller almost breaks that up, and he gets it this time, and he got the ball cleanly there.
I think they call it the follow through there, Laurence.
Yeah.
So Jackson Irvin goes down, free kick. Kieran Miller booked, 62 minutes. Looks like it will be Nisbet, David. He's come up against Stranraer formerly with both Dunfermline and Raith Rovers. Has now played for Scotland, Nisbet. Here he comes. Lifts it over the wall, and that is very unfortunate. That has to go down. Would you say is an own goal, David?
Yeah, I don't know who it came off there. I mean, that was very disappointed there for Stranraer, especially if Stranraer's been the better team in the second half so far. We'll need to go for it now. I mean, the good thing about it is the Stranraer bench. We've got a lot of pace coming on.
That was very unfortunate, Brian, because that we don't know where that was going, but definitely the deflection beat Greg Fleming there.
Greg had no chance here, Laurence.
So Stranraer 0, Hibernian 2. So Rory Payton is about to come on for Stranraer, and Dre Wright is about to come on for Hibs.
Yates as well, I think, Laurence.
Is Matt Yates getting ready, David?
I can see him getting stripped down there somewhere.
On the touchline. And that's a free kick for Stranraer, and a booking for Martin Boyle.
See, Andy's telling him when he gets the ball and runs like that, I mean, he panics the Hibs defence, Laurence.
Plenty of Stranraer players in the box as Stirling sends it in low, and it comes back off Hilton. Scott Robertson back to Stirling. Can he get it across? He's been well watched by McGuinness.
Brilliant again for Stirling.
Back healer into Jinky Hilton, all the way back to Gallagher. Still plenty of bodies there if Gallagher can lift it in. He does, but straight down the throat of Matt Macy. And Hibs will come forward again through Kevin Nisbet. Hilton tracking back, and that's a free kick.
And a booking
just mistimed. I think the booking's a little bit harsh on that one, but it's a clear foul. So
standard booking these days, Laurence.
68 minutes, and he gets a booking, and Duffy goes off, and Orr goes off to replaced by Rory Payton and Matty Yates.
That'll be key with the big games coming up.
I agree, David. It's not that we lack any ambition. We'd like to see them doing well on this cup tie, but at 2-0 it's unlikely, and the league is the priority. As Dre Wright plays it forward, Nisbet for Doidge. Doidge back into the path of Newell, and then Doidge lifts it into the box, and that is a great save, and that's a fantastic goal, you have to say, by Martin Boyle. Initial effort saved brilliantly by Greg Fleming, but what a fantastic goal. And that is 26 minutes into the second half. Boyle ruthless with his finish.
Tremendous finish, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So what you can't take away from him.
Greg Fleming very unlucky, it went to Boyle's feet.
Jackson Irvin into the middle to Nisbet, and that's a lovely pass through, and Boyle tries again, comes close to getting a second goal of the afternoon, hesitated slightly. 16 minutes remaining. Corner comes across from the left, headed back slightly across goal. Hibs still have the ball, and look at this, and that's a miss again by Nisbet. Nisbet has missed about 4 outstanding chances this afternoon, Brian.
I don't think it's his most favourite ground, is it, Stair Park, Laurence?
Have to say it's not harmed Hibs' efforts any. They're winning 3-0. Irvin. Robertson needs to be careful of Martin Boyle here again. He's been a menace in this second half as Boyle, and Robertson slices him and will get a yellow card for his troubles.
That's probably the most obvious yellow card you'll see this season.
8 minutes remaining. Scott Robertson, his name goes into the book. He must be approaching a suspension, Brian. So Hibs with the free kick in a dangerous position all but 2 of the Hibs players. And that is off the crossbar. A header by Christian Deutsch.
That's a penalty.
He's so unfortunate. That's a penalty.
Yep, Scott Robertson. Scott Robertson might hopefully avoids a yellow card here.
The referee's not shouting him over, I don't think. Anyway, Hibs player is down injured. And certainly Boyle who's taken the spot kick. And he dispatches it comfortably.
Straight down the middle. Graham Duncan style penalty there.
It's a 4-0 to Hibs. Martin Boyle hammering that penalty home after Ryan Porteous was fouled by Scott Robertson.
It's got quite a silly foul by Scott because he was going nowhere. But
yeah, he was heading away from goal.
Probably just a big tired leg sticking out there.
Stranraer by no means disgraced, but it's been a steady progression by the Easter Road side. They've never looked in any danger, unfortunately, as Andy Stirling tries to run at McGinn. McGinn uses an arm to effect to block his progress. Grant Gallagher lifts it forward. Here's Yates to Stirling. Nice touch by Matty Yates. Andy Stirling turns. Gallagher. Jinky Hilton. And fantastic save by Matt Macy to deny Hilton. That was Stranraer's best chance of the afternoon, coming with 6 minutes left.
Fair play to Stranraer. Laurence are still knocking away, even as you say, with just about 5 minutes left in the clock.
That was a good hit by Hilton, and you have to say Macy, who hasn't had a lot to do, pulled off a top drawer save there. Hilton, Hamill with the corner rather for Stranraer, and that's straight down the arms of Macy, but he still contrived to drop it, and Sonker and Yates were pretty close there, so there was a spot of danger. It's an unsatisfactory one, Brian. You don't feel as a Stranraer fan as if 4-0's wholly justified, but Hibs have got the 4 goals, and we've not threatened enough really.
Scott
Robertson turning. Matt Yates, and that's a save by the keeper and cleared by Stevenson. So Matty Yates coming close in the dying stages for Stranraer, and they'll continue to press and try and get that consolation that Brian Martin's shouting for.
A couple of good saves by the keeper in the last 5 minutes.
He's had more to do in terms of saves in the last 5 minutes than he's had the whole game. And there's Nisbet in the corner flag, and that ball is out of play, and it will be a corner. And it comes, and Jackson Irvine, who David was just talking about there, comes really close with a header that just dips behind the goal. So Greg Fleming, we're over the 2 minutes now. Referee David Munro will surely blow his whistle here for full time, and indeed he does. Full time at Stair Park in the Scottish Cup. Stranraer 0, Hibernian 4. Wasn't to be for Stranraer, David.
No, Stranraer played really well in the second half. Obviously the deflected second goal, taking the stuffing out of them. Hibs taking the initiative to get forward a wee bit, but a good run out for Stranraer. We said throughout the game, league's the bread and butter. These games are good to come along.
You enjoy that one, Brian?
Yeah, it's been a great run by Stranraer in the Scottish Cup this season. Last 16, the lowest ranked team in the competition. They've done really well, made a few bob for the club. I think 4's a bit right, Laurence. Probably at the end of the day, man of the match was Greg Fleming. That probably says it all. He beat 4 and Greg man of the match, but Stranraer gave it all. You can't. They never left the game in the dressing room. As I say, they gave their all.
It's a comfortable afternoon for Jack Ross's Hibernian side. 4-0 winners at Stair Park. Christian Deutsch with 1, Martin Boyle with 2, and what looked like an own goal, which, as Brian said, kind of knocked the stuffing out of Stranraer. Next up for Stranraer is a crucial, aren't they all, League 2 match at Clifton Hill on Tuesday night against Albion Rovers. Thank you for watching on Stranraer FC Live. We'll bring you the highlights from Clifton Hill after Tuesday night's game.